Hi, I'm estate planning attorney Michael Redden, and today I want to talk to you about 4 things that a trust can do that a will can't. But before we get into that content, if you have any questions about this after the video, if you want to sit down and talk with me, you can set up a free meeting that's either over the phone or in person by going to setestatemeeting.com. That's setestatemeeting.com. This is a pretty common question that I get. People, they want to do their estate plan, but they're kind of torn between, do I get a trust or do I get a will? And it really comes down a lot of times to the differences. People want to know what the differences are. One of the big differences is that a trust can avoid probate because the trust is still around even if you pass away. A will has to be probated. The will doesn't do anything unless it's probated. That's what it's for. The will is for the court. So if you choose a will, you're choosing to have probate. The next part about it is asset protection, okay? The asset protection for your heirs. If you pass your assets down in a trust, then as long as they stay in the trust, they're probably going to be protected from the creditors of your children and grandchildren, any kind of predators who want to take advantage of them, and also even from divorce in the state of Minnesota. So they provide asset protection. A will just allows the court to transfer your assets to the next person, doesn't provide any asset protection. Another thing that a trust is going to provide that a will won't is gives you some kind of control over the management of the assets to making sure that they're managed properly, right? There's going to be a trustee there, and that trustee is going to be able to follow your instructions to invest things in the stock market, to make sure that the money comes out for proper purposes and isn't just spent frivolously. So you're going to have that control to make sure that they're responsibly managed and that the money's only used for certain purposes. With a will, you're probably just going to hand the money over to your heir, and if they're underage or if they're not able to handle that kind of money, it might just be squandered and lost. Another thing that goes along with this management piece is if you have some land or real estate or a family business that you really want to keep in the family, if you pass that on down with the trust, you can make sure that it stays in the family, is protected from everybody's creditors and things like that, and is managed properly. Whereas if it goes straight out with the farm or with real estate or even with the business, any kind of creditor issues that those people have, will be able to get towards those assets, and that one person who owns it can decide to sell it rather than keep it in the family so that everyone can enjoy it. The next thing that's there is that a trust can provide intergenerational wealth. What that means is that the trust can survive and live beyond more than one person, right? It can go on to your grandkids, your great-grandkids. It can keep that wealth there and really create that really long-lasting legacy for you. A will is just going to deal with your assets when you've passed away and what happens at that moment, at the end of that one life. It's not going to extend to further lives and provide protection and other kinds of things and really hold the family and hold the assets together. A trust can do that. So really that's what you're kind of looking at as your family's circumstances, and do you want those extra benefits? That's really what's going to guide you when you choose between a will and a trust. So that was 4 differences between a trust and a will. And again, if you have further questions or you'd like to sit down with me, you can have a free meeting in person or over the phone if you go to setestatemeeting.com, setestatemeeting.com, and you can choose a date and a time to meet with me.